Hey, did you remember? Do you remember the Snoot game exists? Remember the Snoot game exists? Let's put on a different little soundtrack. Let's put on something a bit more contemplative, perhaps. Like no, not Angie. I don't introspective night. There we go. Someone wanted to do an analysis of Snoot game and its themes. I don't feel quite up to giving the whole game the same treatment I gave Wani yet, but I think it'd be fun to contrast the most pivotal scene being the heart-to-heart moments. The scene is called heart-to-heart in Snoot game. Both the rooftop scene in Snoot game and the bridge scene are pivotal, cementing the relationship of characters. Character growth, whatever the character pertains best outcome in the game, hinges on making the correct actions in these scenes. Does it? Because I think a Snoot game you can just not and still get enough points elsewhere. I don't claim to be an expert, and yet you brought out Jungians, my man. But like you said, correct analysis. And the fun of analysis is you can make lots of conclusions. Are they right? Are they intentional? Who knows? Doesn't matter. It's fun. That's why you come here, to get some fun. Saying someone's analysis is dead wrong, and it's like, it's up to interpretation. To me at that point, it's like, that's why I come to fanfics, because it's fun to see someone think their own way. That's why I get so fucking pissed off when someone just writes the same story over and puts in a different character without thinking about what that means. It's so lame, you didn't think. You didn't think before you skinked. Follow Pastor in the first act, which is prevent the love interest, and the act ends with a heart-to-heart, which solidifies their mutual affection. Because of how the demo works out and everything, I don't know, but whatever. These are momentos of love. She has a psychological nature and are root cause of her character flaws. The meta-narrative. I don't know if that's a meta-narrative. I think that's just the narrative, though. Oh, what the player's supposed to take away. I think that's still just the narrative. Like, the meta-narrative is the narrative of the player. I think? Which is not, like, the narrative... I don't know. I guess you can make that argument. Human student is one of a kind. Dominated. Dominated is a weird term to use for literally the only ones there. Except for, like, a couple of teachers, maybe. Self-actualization and the attainment of personal agency. Snoot Game 2 shares a similar narrative, underpinned by themes of identity. Fang as a character struggles to understand in large part because she starts to project who and what she is in terms of compartmentalize her grief. I think it's more because she got easy answers out of it. You know, everyone told her she was great. Well, the people that she cared about, which is like the one person that seemed to say anything nice about her. Everyone else was being, you know, tough love stuff. Dad was not doing himself any favors there. Painting in defiance of the world. If his circles more external, she rejects the world as constantly dividing her. I don't know if that's external, though. Because that is still her taking action. External implies that the world is fighting her, but the world is trying to help her and she's fighting it. In a heart-to-heart scene, she got to love their own volition. God, suddenly I'm fucking reminded of the art styles. I still like Fang, though. Fang's such a nice... Look at that. No matter how they handle the situation progresses, is getting closer. You're not the only one though. Both Snoot Game and Wani have a father figure present early in both games. Snoot Games is Principi Spears. He has a stern, authoritative father figure who can be aggressive one moment and gentle, sympathetic the next. His depiction is that of a hyper-masculine caveman whose own atavistic, what a lovely word, great, humorously anachronistic juxtaposition to his modern surroundings. He may seem like a man out of, but he might seem out of time, but his moral attitude to life ring eternal. Man, that looks old-fashioned compared to what Wani does with its text boxes. That little black, ugh. And on first meets him in the first chapter, straight out of the gate. He's polite and welcoming to Anon the first time, and stern and disappointed the second. He's polite and welcoming and on the first time, and stern and disappointed the second. Yeah. During the second encounter, there's the line which becomes the narrative crux of the game. It only ever to find their own battles, which makes sense if you tell that to a bunch of anons on you know, who are like, oh man, I hate those redditors. I'm gonna write a very angry letter to them. It's like, Anon, please, you need to understand that Redditor is a bot. He's fighting his own battles of trying to attain sapience within the system. Please, be nice. This is after Spears catches him. Ooh, free pizza in hand. It's entirely possible the caveman is in fact as intelligent as I said last time. Like, you're looking too deep. You are seeing patterns that innately come with the territory, but it's possible that this is in fact the master cartographer, who does have the territory and the map. It isn't known if he does. Ah, okay. Anna would like to go unmolested, but he's also laughing. Okay, cool. Gotcha. As a mentor figures out the nudge Anna, an extension to play the correct direction, with a singular character defining quote which serves as a clue to how the character handle each response as they come. It's got to be more empathic. It's got to feel. Effective and succinct quote. I do think it's annoying that the writers chose to have Anon occasionally reiterate it to himself in his head, as though the player needed a blunt reminder. The quote all needs to be said once to remain Anon's subconscious, repeating it made of lips. I think you could say it one more time. Maybe at a moment where it feels like Anon is learning. You know, Anon internalizing it outside of that. You know, but I don't know how to do that because of how the choice system works. First time players would be... It could be Solly. Yeah, Solly. Is he the mentor? No. I was immediately sidelined. Yeah, again, demo has weirdness going on with it. Is Trent Iadicott? Or is that the point? Could be the point. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but hey. Maybe that is the point. Like, look, it's Spears. The Spears look-alike. And in the original version, because of how much I was told that it's sometimes supposed to be just like a fanfic, yeah, I could... Because he's more like Spears. Yeah. Teacher of both AP Art and Photography, who in this game is a mentor to both Inko and Olivia. We don't know if Spears is also a mentor to Fang. Probably not, but his quote, yeah. I think that the conversations mostly have to do with Fang needing accommodations for, you know, Fang, you got to go to whatever bathroom you like. Ooh! But they had to build a non-binary one. Ugh. That's so involved. Why not just build one bathroom for everybody? And if a man decides to abuse a woman inside of a bathroom, you just fucking kill him. Because we're not apes. We can behave. Maybe we should work on that as a society. If the arrow tonally... Okay, yeah. This is the big thing that I have. It showed up in the second chapter. Unlike Spears showed up in the first, it's until the third chapter gives him the quote that resonates. The air around so many clear and clear stuff. He thinks, and I agree, there is no quote, and that might be because the Snoot game had such a very obvious, blunt quote. But is that really applicable? Is it really applicable to, like, Anon's actual character struggles? Is there an error that needs... I guess so, but it feels so weak. Listen and think to her. For Inko, his role is to be adversarial in the face. Slapsitic. Ugh, what a word. In Snooker and the Roots of Six, they touch for the menu. Oh, completely. Just that game's like out of my head. The both events should have been their own separate chapters. Hell yeah. Barely in the same chapter in the game files. Oh yeah, if that gets too poof. So demanding for that ending too. Even before he makes a choice that can positively affect Fang. Oh, he's already been presented with two. Oh, sorry. I read that wrong. Two Fang scrollers. I remember that they only get one during the rooftop. Choice that was a fan. Great to know. So meet with Nasser. You can defeat a politician. Remove restrictions from Spears. It's interesting conundrum in and of itself, because arguably going to Spears first, you are going in defiance of Reclamation. You are not the only one in the world. It's selfish motivation versus selfless. And I like that! Even though it's not a meaningful choice, it does say something about you. Mentally prime, yeah. Same applies to Naomi. Though her Tory motives are selfish, none of which is particularly. Yeah, she like Naomi doesn't really force anything. She just enables the situation to organically happen. So calling her a mess, maybe this was kind of weird in the grander context of things. Like, you could have just said no and on. She doesn't deserve to die. Even when picking options that affect her positively, is doing so only for selfish gain. Yeah. Actually, positive effects. Actually, she gives away that it was at her concert. You can try to play it off as a joke or swallow his pride and apologize. Oh, yeah. Both interested for misbehaving. Misbehaving. Like babies. In summary, before the rooftop scene, the roses egotistical jerks who look down upon each other. Like in Snook Game, Wani has the protagonist 3 choices for the pivotal scene. Like in Snook Game, these 2 choices are 2 which can positively affect Olivia, and 1 which is for him. And with all these choices, Olivia finds incomeless. Okay. Prockling. I thought I said frolicking. Hold up, I need to. Yeah, okay. The going outside, defying Prockling, going gets me out. Is this a picture in the game? Hold up. Hold up! I don't know this one. Probably on the CG somewhere. I don't remember that at all. Here's the CGs for the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Tragedy. Oh yeah. Again, they really fucking loved the idea of like, oh man, we're doing one of those again. We're doing the E1 again, and it's like, nah, I don't think it's in here. It might be somewhere else, but the fact that it's not here should say enough. I love how the fire dance is like very obviously the fire dance. Or the ending 4 picture. Which again, how the fuck is Ben a psychopath if he's in ending 4 the way he is? Yeah, I don't think it's in here. This might be cut art then. What an interesting picture though. I wonder what that's for. Is that the actual bridge they're on? I'm going to clear my nose. I'm not fond of the chapter art contest blues. I think Ingo's eternal monologue about Olivia and their shy dialogue is very clumsily written. The chapter itself packs a ton of exposition and backstory on Olivia and Ben to justify the scene. It breaks the pacing because the first 4 chapters were heavily obsessed with just being cutesy. We're gonna kiss. Like the original parts are very much cute to a different story to some extent. Way more optimistic. The emotions. Inko's oddly specific descriptions of his reasons behind it. Oh yeah. Isn't ordinarily this descriptive. Oh. Yet Inko's narration makes it feel like the writer's talking down to the players, unusual for them. Oh man. It just got mad. Walking on eggshells. Even when he gets tough on her, he immediately thinks, oh geez, I should have mauled me for that. It robs the player of their own agency. There's nothing in the way of catharsis by throwing it back into her face because of how limp-wristed. My limp wrists! It's also the fact that Iadakon makes clear that Inko's skill as a painter is lacking, yet the fact that he won either slips his notice or he's aware of what Olivia did. I think it's explicit that he looked the other way, because he specifically mentions... Like, I'm pretty sure Iadakon specifically mentioned that he recognized the painting. Because it went over his desk. When it comes down to all this convenience for the plot, he's shown to be stern when necessary. He just looks at other stuff to shows not everyone else. Makes him look negligent. Ah. Where it's mainly Anon listening to Fang's pleas for help. There's no internal monologuing by Anon to provide superfluous and heavy-handed commentary on Fang's emotional state, just brief descriptions. It's simply her getting everything off her chest. Hell yeah. If Anon chooses to stay silent to listen to her, she eventually tells the story of her brother, Nasser, in vivid detail without it being overly long. The whole scene is efficiently written and gets the points across. I played Wani before playing Snoot, and even then, I didn't actually play Snoot at first. I watched Mr. Mouse's AI dub. There's an AI dub? Oh no, that's Encore. That's actually voice. Jesus Christ, Safi. Be nice. Yeah, I know. Listen, I got a full dub with me talking. I'm just an idiot, and I've ruined it a bunch of times. I have no idea what... Yeah, I think around that time, I wasn't even streaming it, because I didn't think it would actually do anything, and no one would give a shit. Why did I even start playing it? I think it was because I felt like it might as well take a look. I don't even know. It's been a year or so. Ugh. Year and a half. Oof. No idea what ending I would have gotten the first time. Kind of spoiled. Yeah. It's for Wani the first time. Got ending it was for 2. I made every choice except the one for art context. For the first option, I can't take you in for the rest of the scene played out. I knew from how quickly unsatisfied I was that I had picked the wrong option. I kept hoping you'd hold her to account. But I was committed to a blind run inside to see it through. Olivia's choice, I invited her outside and cheered her on against Buster. Give my choices. E3. What other choices did you miss then? Taking the key. Fair enough. Taking the key, and which one then? Oh, and the support, I guess. Just to explain my mindset during the bridge scene, I remember specifically thinking, I don't hate you, but the other options, but why do all this? Didn't feel direct enough. It should have been something more like, how could you do this? Or this affects me too. A moment, Inko was panicked at the thought of being thought of as a fraud, yet now his instinct for self-preservation sees this been I'm gonna hate myself for oppressing her. Fair enough, because remember, he has a lot to lose. Battling his own inclinations toward pitting her in real time, but not allowing himself to feel anger and indignation is by far the most condescending act. Yeah. But it can be most rational in certain situations. Yeah, rational doesn't mean it's the most, it doesn't have to mean that. No, the most expedient. That's how the church interaction with more of the scene. So they had to write it out extensively. Because if he was Big Angie, they could have just written out as Big Angie. The dev notes in the chapter files offer some insights into the mindset around this chapter. This is the one on the first choice. But why do all this? +1 Inko. This is an Inko point because Inko is overcoming his fears by taking things at face values. Allude and play into this. Oh, he wants to know more. He's curious. That's the point. Just by this, it's clear that Olivia's role is to be purely intentionally antagonistic towards Inko. She's being dishonest and deceitful. The cycle of bad behavior continues if Inko feels that any further as a person gets E2 simp ending. If Inko does continue to develop and E3 is achieved, let's look at this exchange. There's only the path of going strong-willed, feels so rich in spirit that he doesn't mind being wronged by the poor, crippled, helpless girl. Rich in spirit. Scotland is saying to her level of being a protector. She herself is even encouraging her, whether she knows it or not. This egotistic attitude of Inko and E3 make clear, man. Yeah. After the best ending. You still have to hear the backstory with Ben. Even then, if you don't choose the remaining correct options and hold Olivia accountable for her action, it's still possible. Get the best ending as long as you choose every other choice correct for the remainder of the game. Is it though? I think you need Ben ending to get there. Is she dancing without help? She's still holding on to him, right? Also, this implicates that a person who needs a wheelchair should not be in a wheelchair, which is really weird. Very minor thing. Just problems with certain types of metaphor and allegory, I guess. Personally, I think they botched this. I may not like the dialogue or the numerous choices, but I think they should have made it a prerequisite to get every choice correct in order to get the extra Inko point. And necessary condition for E4, which is how it worked in... Hold up. Hold up! That's not how Snoot works. Hold up. Snoot Gembuki point system. You only need 4 points. Hold up! I don't think that's how that game works. Yeah, the ending only cares. Get ending from call ending 5. Call get ending from call get ending 5. Okay, so that's a function call? Oh, the ending image doesn't. Chapter 13 here because the scene is different from the other routes and everything. Okay. Well, fuck. Utility? Get ending. Oh, you do have to get Wing Story. I didn't know that. Well, that changes my opinion on how they handle it in Gator Game then. Not Gator Game. Safi, you fool! You've become gormless. Ooh. I'm looking for something. But I cannot find it. Do you have to get Ben's story for ending 4 there too? So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. I never knew you needed a Wing Story. I don't think the page for the Snook Game mentions that either. What a curious thing we've learned today! Let's see. Personally, I think it would watch. I feel it should have made a prerequisite to get every choice correct in order to get the extra point, income point, and the necessary condition for E4. Oh, you can get some incorrect, I guess? I don't know. No, that's 4 points for her. Hold fuck on. No. Olivia 3 points to Inko's 2. Would yeah, you get the Olivia ending. No, you get ending 3. No, wait. No, it's ending 2. For some reason, it's blue. I don't know why I did it like that, you bingus. Yeah. 2 points for Inko, 3 for Olivia. 3 points for either gets their ending. Unless it's 3-3, then it's Inko's ending. Takes priority. Ending 1 is a large scale of options. But what about the, Oh, the Inko point is separate from the choice. You need to get the ending 4 option. Yeah, I thought you had to get the Inko point and the thing, but I guess, yeah. I think the points in Snook Game do work like that. You get both, yeah. How interesting, Mr. Jones. He's done his homework. Why do you have to call it woke non-binary bullshit? It's just the non-binary bullshit. The woke stuff is entirely superfluous to that. That's just part of the territory. Not a bad, deceitful person. Trish is. What a weird thing to say. I mean, she broke up with Trish, though. Callous, drunken behavior after she supported him, no less. Looks more sympathetic than Argold. Femme anonymous. Why it makes you live with a lot of hoops. To see a version of Olivia that isn't a selfish, entitled, bratful delusion. But isn't that like part of the point, though? She's Trish with Anon's tendencies. Woof. We're trying to make a point about people who would seek to see themselves in the role of some kind of valiant white knight. Kind of tongue-in-cheek jab at themselves as they wrote E3 for Snook Game. Yeah! Sapping overly sentimental as possible. Oh god, the music. All of it was just bait. Showing an unfursuit as an army chat with a... That's cute. If that was the point, that is clever. The only point to make this... Okay, the only problem is that to make this overly self-conscious bit of labored storytelling from Kevin on work, it is necessary to make Inko a spineless wimp not capable of indignation when being used, and Olivia even more of an impulsive coward for doing it in the first place and waiting to the last minute to rectify it. The player's reward, if they do make the correct choice, is to see Olivia beg and plead like her life depends on it. The whole thing isn't charitable to Olivia and requires some active condescension to really know better. Yeah, she does. She does like fall over and shit. To make the tsundere girl beg and plead. Is she tsundere though? Like, I don't know. Like again, her punkish, rebellious attitude really fades hard. He's too much of a nice guy. Which is the opposite. The imagery is not of a rainy day, but of a bright, beautiful, sunny day. He's just had a good time too. And Anon's climbing stairs finds her thus ascending to her level, not condescending to it. That's a bit too much looking into it. The roof's just a quiet place to be. It's quite saying something that the roof would be a quiet place to be. Where you should be most visible as there are no walls. The most exposed, yet somehow the most undiscovered because no one ever looks up. Suicidal ideation. He doesn't know that. It is as an equal. Far more charitable here. I've read the famous critique by Lit Anon on Snook Game, which inspired rewrites of and the creation. Oh, what? I haven't read the famous. I don't even know what that is. Fair enough. Trying real not to repeat that mistake. No matter what. I kind of want to see this. Truth be told. And Ben doesn't get a redemption arc as he deserved because he doesn't work for their trust. It's just handed to him. Yeah. All imaginary. Fang ascending to Fang's level and Go is condescending. He has to get down to her level, sit down, go through the mud. He has to descend into heck to find her in that abyss, I guess. But it's not a bridge, so... Lying helpless in the rain. Yeah, it is a weird contrast when you put them side by side. Because one is really all you need is Fang being fucked up. I guess the rain would wash away the blood, though. Although seeing a large pool of blood... We're almost done. How surprising. It didn't even take that long. Ultimately, the most condescending thing about Tribute of Wani is that you go down. She gets everything she ever wanted and more. Rather than losing Yanakan, whose death is scripted to happen no matter what. She doesn't lose her... Yeah, she doesn't. Only Inko, who she wronged, is privy to her subterfuge. Yanakan is too, but I guess he's dead at this point. By which right should have cost her an awful lot. No one else knows. Not even Damien and Liz, who are kept ignorant. And in the game, only Liz gives Olivia the beratement she had coming for her juvenile attitude. Yeah. Feel more natural because they're endings Olivia deserves. Put that in quotes because that's my opinion. I do feel that ending 4 tries a bit much. It's possible that... It's a weird thing to say. I wonder if this really does apply. Right? Putting my demo theory aside and everything, there was going to be a whole separate game and they just never could decouple the demo from that. What a thing to have a problem with, right? To be up in your head like that. Even if you know it or not, it's haunting you and you're just like, maybe I'll make that choice. And like, small little choices deviate a long time, you know. 1 degree over 100 miles is a lot further than you think. It's 100 miles. Is it? I don't think that's how the math works out. Safi, you're an idiot. Go to home. Hold up. Someone just showed me some interesting stuff on the tariff business, and I'm interested in reading it because it's big stuff. This is quite consequential. China, Japan, and South... What a fucking combination! And the countries of ASEAN just issued a joint statement in which they unified stance against the escalating trade protectionism, a clear reference to Trump's tariffs. They write that their common policy priority is to reinforce long-term resilience of the region, which, given the policies they detail, clearly means building financial and trade infrastructures aims at reducing the exposure to the U.S. The statement outlines a comprehensive strategy to strengthen the chain between the signatories to enhance local currency bond markets and reduce the dependence on Western financial institutions, probably mostly mean American banks. For instance, the expansion of the Chai Initiative Multilateralization, or CMIM. Particularly notable is the explicit support for the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnerships, RCEP. I want to say CREP. The world's largest trade agreement that includes signatories, but includes all signatories, but not the U.S. All in all, Trump is achieving the unthinkable, bringing the East and Southeast Asia together into an economic bloc that seems to de-risk itself from America. Wow! Make Asia great again. What a wonderful world we live in! Everything's gone fucking nuts. And I'm reading all this shit. The law around us is unclear. Tariffs are typically reserved for physical goods and intellectual property that is intangible like this. If he does something similar to books and music, we could see... Oh. Yeah, I was wondering about that, because, like, they don't... Do they still send you, like, movie reels? Like, if it was movie reels, that makes sense, right? You could put a tariff on that. But if it's just, like... Although I heard you can apparently do it... I don't know, man. It's all confusing. Anyway, let's go for it. The more I think about Wani, the more disillusioned I become by it. But then again, these are merely rantings of a neurotic, obsessive-compulsive caffeine addict who likes to talk about the Jungian psychology and want to be a professional writer. Sure, man, we're all one of those. Maybe I'm being needlessly cynical. You should put cynical in the adjectives then. In spite of all the criticisms here, it still goes as a to make sure we're emotionally invested. I have to say though, I do wonder. Oh, he put the oh, March. I thought that was May. Great observation, Dr. After playing the game multiple times, I started to get annoyed. Inga doesn't get angry to Olivia too. Which the fact that he didn't get mad at her is one of the things apart from his character. You know what? I'm starting to kind of see the way that guy who wrote that really angry one starts to see. Because from that perspective, this does feel weird, right? It's one of his character flaws and eventual growth. Not letting himself be controlled by others by not getting angry. He's letting control manipulate him. Yeah, it is kind of counterintuitive. Anyway, next time we got analyzing Inko Oneko. One Inko. It's gonna be exciting.